So a couple of days ago, Sunny V2 put out a video talking about how Boogie quote unquote deserved his failure. So I wanted to take a look at the video and be like, what's actually going on with him, because I've heard, a mixture of things about him. I watched the Christopher Todd video on him a little bit ago. That was really my introduction to him, that and like the Frank Castle stuff. Other than that, I didn't really know a lot about him. I've been looking to him more recently. Seems like an alright guy. Seems like he's, struggled through a lot of different things. So let's take a look at a couple of clips from the video, just so we can get an idea of what's going on.
Before uploading a new video simply titled "How Much Money Does Boogie 2988 Make?", which felt like yet another wholesome yet modest upload, which had clearly been made with the goal of helping his audience.
I want to make sure you have the tools in mind so that you fully understand how much income we already have coming in and make an educated decision of whether or not you ever want to participate in that kind of thing.
Boogie went on to politely imply that he was making over $100,000 per year from YouTube, which didn't include third-party income like Patreon.
So let's take, for example, a YouTube channel similar to mine that's bringing in 10 million views per month. If a YouTube channel is bringing in 10 million views per month, divide that by 1,000, you've got 10,000. Multiply that by $1, and you'll have a really good idea of how much ad revenue that channel is bringing in.
So 6 figures a year is a great salary. I'm sure anybody who's listening to this would like to have that, even though there might be some millionaires that are watching this for whatever reason. But it's interesting that he had, financial ruin coming off of like such a good amount of years like that. And he said earlier on in the video, I didn't clip it because I didn't think it was that important, that he does save pretty much whatever he can. So he did end up having a divorce after he saved up for weight loss surgery, and that came to this point right here.
Boogie explained that his wife was extremely generous in the divorce, having stated that she wanted far less than 50% of the finances.
And she's like, I want enough to where I know I'm going to be taken care of. And I'm like, okay. So she gave me a number, and I'm like, but that's not half. It wasn't half of what we were worth.
It was less.
It was less.
However, as a result of the law, Boogie ended up giving her half of what he had anyway.
She's legally entitled to 50% of everything we own. To make sure it's half, so she has no recourse moving forward.
While Boogie's financial position had taken a pretty substantial hit, his audience was still cheering for him with comments such as, "I hope this is the birth of a new Boogie, a healthy Boogie, no baggage, just a happy, healthy, outgoing Boogie."
So that's unfortunate. Not only did he, lose his marriage, but he lost a lot of money. Basically, if you count his channel as an asset, he was a millionaire. And now, that's half of that. And if you've been, saving wisely and spending wisely, still that's going to be a big hit on literally anybody. You lost half of your money and half of your assets, just split right down the middle. So yeah, you're gonna struggle financially. Now obviously you had to pay for weight loss surgery, so that's just a lot of stuff building up on people. And then you've got his mental health issues, so it sounds like it's just a mixture of unfortunate events that keep building and building and building. As of right now, I'm not really saying anything that's too oh my gosh, why is he spending money like that? Like he's just driving himself into financial ruin. But I've seen the video all the way through, and we're getting there. We're getting there.
But throughout the process, the storytime rambling videos, which were once uplifting, inspirational, and designed to help his viewers, began to feel like they were being made with the goal of receiving sympathy pity from the audience. Additionally, Boogie's positive can-do attitude, where he wanted to invest his savings into making excellent content for the viewers, had transformed into this complete lack of confidence for the future of his channel.
And I'm not smart enough to be able to figure that stuff out. I'll never be good at titles. I'll never be good at thumbnails. I'm not even that good at video creation.
Leading him to develop an attitude of just wanting to get by as opposed to wanting to grow his audience.
As long as my rent is paid, as long as my mortgage is paid, as long as I can keep the lights on, as long as I can support myself and the people that I currently employ, hey, I'm happy with that.
The final video related to his divorce, in which Boogie explained that he now fully owned his house again, happened to have been uploaded in October.
So the beginning of that is a problem that Darkside Phil has ran into, is that a lot of times his streams and his videos just sound like him just being like, oh my gosh, everything is so bad, woe is me. And people don't like that. People don't like to, come home, turn on a YouTube video after a long day, and then have to listen to somebody complaining about their life, unless they can make it entertaining. And people weren't getting entertained by that. And his subscribers continue to drop and drop and drop. Also, when you're creating content and you're entertaining people, you have to keep evolving. You can't just be like, well, I'll never be good at it, so I shouldn't try. I'll never, build this. I'll never create better titles, so I shouldn't try. I've gotten this far. Why keep trying? As long as my bills are paid and as long as my rent is good, I'm fine. Which is great. I want people to be financially stable. I'd love for everybody to be financially stable. But when you're in this kind of industry, things keep moving. And if you stop, the bus gonna keep moving. You're just gonna be off the bus. And that's something that has unfortunately affected him. He got off the bus at the wrong time. He didn't try to keep growing and keep moving. I mean, you go look at my thumbnails over the past, months. I think I've gotten better and better at it. Creating thumbnails that people want to actually click on. And, that's reflected in my subscriber growth, because I was like, oh man, I really need to improve. So I went and did that. You have to continue to grow. You have to be willing to continue to learn. Even if you're like Boogie and you've ascended to this height, if you get there and you just stay there and you get stagnant, people are just going to pass you. You have to keep going, right? You have to put in effort, because if you're at a job and you just get stagnant and your production gets worse and worse and worse, they're going to fire you. And I guess he's slowly getting fired from this job.
However, only 3 days after this video was uploaded, a now infamous mega thread would be posted to Reddit, which would go on to significantly impact Boogie's reputation. It was titled "The Hidden Truth Boogie Doesn't Want You to Know," and it featured over 5,000 words, showcasing that Boogie wasn't exactly the nice guy he tried to portray. The thread brought up topics such as his behavior on stream, various edgy comments he had made over the years, as well as the way he acted in his marriage, with commenters stating this document is up there with the Constitution and the Magna Carta. However, the thread was posted to a fairly unknown subreddit, and if Boogie had simply ignored the thread, people likely would have forgotten about it, although this isn't what would happen. Boogie instead decided to wage a war against the person who began the mega thread.
I started a war. This guy has been coming at me for 5 years.
Before going on to complain about the criticism in countless different videos.
This subreddit has been actively attacking me and going through everything I've ever said and ever done on the internet for the last 3 years.
Dude, the last thing that you need to do when someone is coming after you on the internet is react angrily. Because if you do that, you're literally doing the exact thing they want you to do. When people troll you or they come after you, they want your attention, right? If you just ignore them and don't even give them the time of day, they're gonna go away. It's gonna get boring for them, right? They're not gonna come back and yell at a brick wall. Nobody's gonna do that. He completely Streisanded this whole entire thing. I don't know why he would even consider doing it. It's almost like the Dream thing, where he saw that thread by John Swan in a little known subreddit and decided to make it this big thing. If you're just cognizant of how things are really going to affect you, and you think about it and go, are people going to be worried about this in 3 days? If I give it attention, maybe. If I don't give it attention, definitely not. And then go about your day. I guarantee you, in 3 days, you'll feel fine, right? Because nobody's going to be talking about it.
Despite Boogie's clear decline in his views, subscribers, and income, his spending habits hadn't changed one bit, as midway through this collapse, it announced that he was taking on a $100,000 loan to purchase a Tesla.
I ended up buying the X. I still haven't got it fully financed yet. I'm having to finance it, obviously.
Oh my God, I just put myself $100,000 in debt.
My car payment's $1,700 a month or something like that. That's more money than I make on Twitch. That's like half of my YouTube revenue this month.
Boogie then made a tweet about how expensive the car was, giving him another opportunity to make himself look like an idiot.
I tweeted out that I was not going to be able to afford this car.
Reddit and Twitter lost their minds. Oh, are you trying to manipulate people into giving you money?
The answer is yes. Give me some money.
Oh my goodness, this is just so bad. One of his car payments could probably buy you a crappy car, low key, like a car that will just get you from point A to point B. Like a 05 Honda, probably pre-pandemic, you could probably get one for that price. And he's spending that per month on a Tesla that he admits later in the video will depreciate. That's just such a bad decision. Like, I'm grateful that my parents were always telling me, like, when you get a car, if you get a new car, the value drops instantly. You're just throwing your money. So don't buy it unless you're good on it, right? Why would you get $100,000 in debt when you already know that you're going to be wallowing in debt once you do it? Like, how did you not weigh it? It's like the fact that he did that and accrued that much debt, it didn't hit him until he was streaming. You should never make a purchase like that to where you're like, oh man, I didn't think about it until after I bought it. Like, the effect that it's going to have on your wallet and on your everyday life should be the tantamount part of the decision. That should be the deciding factor. Can I buy this and keep my life the way it is? Or am I going to have to borrow money and live paycheck to paycheck? It's just weird. I don't know why he's doing this. It's like actually making me uncomfortable. But it gets worse. It does get worse.
I basically took every dime I had in liquid funds and invested it in a huge gamble. I invested pretty much everything I had into cryptocurrency. I invested all the way back here, and yeah, that's where we currently are with that market. So to say that I doubled my money is an understatement. In fact, I did more than that. Never feel pressured to get one of those memberships down below. Never feel pressured to subscribe on Twitch. Never feel pressured to make a donation or interact with one of my sponsors. Never feel pressured to buy a t-shirt.
Because only a year after posting it, Boogie uploaded a new video titled I Need Your Help, in which he explained that he had lost almost all of his money to the crypto market and now required donations from the audience.
Okay, so I cut that clip up a little bit. I just wanted to show you guys the progression of him being like, oh man, I quadrupled my money. I know what I'm doing in the crypto space. Okay, you don't feel pressured to buy anything. And then he goes from that to, guys, I need your help. I need your contributions, your donations as soon as possible. I feel bad for him. Oh my goodness, why would you put so... You should never invest more than you can lose. It's just like gambling. Because it's just a different form of gambling, technically. You should never invest more than you can lose comfortably. Okay, don't if you're sitting there and going, if I'm not right on this, I'll lose my house. Don't do it. Hey, this guy is like, what, 30 or 40 years, well, he's not 40 years older than me. He's like 20 some odd years older than me. And he's making the dumbest decisions possible. I wouldn't go as far as saying, oh, well, he deserves, like, not, being able to support himself financially and losing all his money and being, like, over $100,000 in debt, probably. I wouldn't say he deserves that, but he definitely brought it on himself. He definitely could have, Jesus. That was the most avoidable stuff I've ever seen when it comes to financial ruin. He just hopped, skipped, and jumped right into it, and yeah, it's ultimately his fault, but I wouldn't say he deserves it. I think that's, it's sort of just giving a title that'll be, good to click on, and it'll draw people in. So, I'm going to end things off here. Thank you all so much for watching. I really and truly appreciate it. Goodbye.